This is probably the first concert movie that I've seen since Michael Jackson's This Is It in the theater. And I don't think I've ever seen anything quite like it. Now obviously in film history before, other bands have done movies that showcase a concert from them, like Pink Floyd's The Wall, which I have yet to see. Led Zeppelin did one. A lot of bands have done them. So what got me interested in this one? Well, Dane DeHaan. The fact that he was attached to this movie made it really interesting because I'm not actually a huge fan of Metallica at all. I do have I have a handful of songs on my phone. They do have some really good songs, but they kind of walk the line between just a screaming metal band and actual quality rock and roll. I'm kind of like on the fence with them. I do really like some of their songs. So, there were a few things that interested me about this movie, but the fact that it was taking a concert, a live action concert from them, and also interweaving in a post-apocalyptic narrative involving a roadie played by Dane DeHaan, that sounded awesome. So what did I think of Metallica Through the Never? I thought it was pretty cool. Now with these types of movies, there's two ways it could have gone. It could have been a concert movie with little pieces of the narrative or just that music video imagery kind of spliced in, or it could have been a story first and then just have the band as a backdrop. Metallica Through the Never fits into the former, so if you kind of had that expectation like I did actually, I thought it was going to be more story, this isn't that film. The music is certainly at the forefront, it's above all a concert film, and it just has this side story kind of to complement it, which made it really interesting because Dane DeHaan is a rising independent star. He's really hot right now, and he's a good actor. I'm always curious about whatever project he's choosing, so it was kind of interesting to see them go with that kind of actor for this movie because he barely utters a word in the whole movie. I don't think he even says anything. He actually has to just react to stuff, which is unusual. Basically what this film is an epic mashup feature-length music video. It goes without saying that fans of Metallica are the primary audience for this movie, but I think anyone who enjoys rock and roll music will certainly get a kick out of this. I'm more of a fan of classic rock and some heavy rock from the 80s and 70s and maybe even the 60s too a little bit. Classic music, not today's music. So I just appreciated the awesome guitar and drums, like just the talent behind this band, because I'm not that familiar with Metallica, but I still had an interest in the movie. Just the talent these guys have, and they're kind of up there now. They're not in their prime anymore, but damn, they provide such an insane amount of energy, and rating, like, I guess the concert within the movie, because a lot of it is a live action real concert, I'm guessing. It was awesome. It was like I was actually there. The cameras swoop around and the cinematography is pretty incredible. Like, they get a variety of shots. It doesn't feel like any traditional just, like 3 or 4 different cameras. They get a lot of creative shots and you can feel the energy of the concert. You feel like you're actually there. It's amazing. And the special effects are there, the energy of the crowd is there. It feels like you're in one of their concerts, at least the closest thing to it. So if you've never been able to attend a concert of Metallica, this is the next best thing. Especially, it was worth it seeing the movie in IMAX 3D. The IMAX picture quality, of course, is incredible. The sound, oh my god. Oh my god, it was loud, but it was still crystal clear, and it was just... What this whole movie is just a sensory overload. It's that kind of experience. It's just amazing to visualize, but to also hear. Like, it's just... On that level, just purely for style, it succeeds with flying colors. They provide a lot of their greatest hits, of course. So if you've gone to a Metallica concert like 10 times, you're probably going to be very familiar with this set list. Honestly, this movie was just a fun ride. It was one of the most unique movies I've seen all year for sure. And it was kind of a throwback to heavy rock music videos of the 80s and just past times, because the narrative that they go with, I mean, like the imagery, that's what what's so special about those parts of the movies, the parts that feature Dane DeHaan. It's just a lot of this post-apocalyptic imagery. It's just like battles in the streets and insane shit, and it's just, I'm not going to describe it, you just have to see the movie for yourself, but I guess it works with their style of music. Like if you imagine a visual oddity, nightmare, like, you know, like what Metallica's sound would look like, I guess that's supposed to go along with it. It really doesn't make much sense, in all honesty. I don't think it's supposed to, but I don't know, it works along with the concert. Obviously this movie was on a limited budget, but what special effects they use, the set pieces, I wish they could have been a little bigger, and it could have been more coherent. I wish the whole story part of the movie had been more substantial. Honestly, I would have preferred a little bit more story and a little bit less concert, because some of the songs, this is again coming from not necessarily a fan of Metallica, some of them did feel kind of repetitive, and that kind of made the feature feel a little long at times. And this movie's only an hour and a half. It's kind of short, and I'm kind of glad for that too. But I don't know, I think they had an opportunity to tell an actual story, and it doesn't have to be that complex, like it just maybe some actual dialogue and an actual kind of adventure. It really just kind of feels like a very simple, there's not even really a plot. It just feels like a very simple short story, and it's just spread throughout the whole movie, and it feels like it takes too long to complete, and there really isn't much to offer, you know, just as a narrative in that regard. And it's a little disappointing because it goes alongside the concert, but there's so much more concert footage than story narrative footage, so it just keeps cutting away, and it's because it's supposed to run alongside it. So I wish story had been considered a little more in the making of the movie, in the script. But it does kind of make sense why it isn't as prominent as I would have wanted it to be, because this was probably Metallica's just wanting to do a movie, so it was likely that it wasn't really going to be the star of the show. And it's kind of late mentioning this, but it's actually kind of hard to critique a movie like this, because you either like Metallica or you don't, so that kind of determines whether or not you're going to like the movie, for the most part. I forgot to mention the 3D. The 3D is worth it. So go see it in Imax 3D if you have the opportunity. I'd say it's the best way to see this movie. I was stunned, honestly. The 3D actually had depth, and I'm not really a proponent of 3D. I'm very selective of which movies I see in 3D now. I only choose to see a movie in that format if I feel it's going to add to the movie, if it's going to add to the effect of it, usually for more action or adventure-driven movies. I can't help but feel that this movie's going to be different for everyone. For me, not being huge into Metallica, really my only flaw is that I wish the story that was running alongside the concert could have been more prominent. I think it needed to be, it needed to be more there. It needed to be developed more. I think it should have been more than what it was. It felt too minimalistic. It almost didn't need to be there. Almost. But, you know, some people who are just big fans of Metallica, maybe wouldn't want that as much, so it's just going to be different for everyone. But as an outsider, that was my only complaint. I still really enjoy the movie. I had a great time with it. It was a fun movie. I really enjoyed the ride. It was just an incredible visual and sonic experience. I say, if you can, go check it out on IMAX 3D. Otherwise, you need to see it in the theater if you have any interest in it. It's that kind of movie. It's awesome. Overall, I would say Metallica Through the Never is great. I would definitely consider buying it on Blu-ray. Maybe not at full price, but I think I need to own it at some point, because seeing just the picture on my HD TV, and it's gonna rock my sound system. It's definitely, if they get it right, it can be demo quality. So, are you a fan of Metallica? Let me know what you, if you plan on seeing this movie, or have you already seen it? Let me know. If you're not into Metallica, are you still interested in this movie, or again, have you seen it? Let me know what you thought. I'd be curious to see what the difference is between the two. So with that, this is CommonNonsenseMedia, signing out. Just say out and off at the same time.